Hello, this is Darren with All States Distributing, here to demonstrate and tell you a little bit about our All States Magnum Propane cutting system. This is a torch that's engineered and blueprinted from the demand regulator all the way through the cutting tip for natural gas or propane. Works on a demand principle, leans out the fuel to give you a much hotter burn than an oxyacetylene. What we have here is a couple of bottles to explain the difference between oxygen and acetylene and propane, excuse me. This is a acetylene bottle we've cut in half to show you what's inside an acetylene bottle. All acetylene bottles have what we refer to as a monolithic filler in them, and then they saturate that material with acetone, and then they bleed the acetylene gas down into it. If you put the acetylene gas into a hollow bottle like the propane bottle, acetylene detonates around 27 psi, so that's the reason your acetylene gauge is redlined at 15 psi, gives you a safety margin there. So what it ends up being is this 100 cubic foot bottle of acetylene that runs the average anywhere from $35 to $65 depending on where you're buying it. If you took all the fuel out of this bottle and took it down to a cold enough temperature to make it into a liquid, you'd have less than a quart of fuel you're paying $35 to $65 a bottle for. In the propane, we have a fuel that is in a liquid form in a hollow bottle. And we're just burning the vapor. It boils off the propane. We have a tremendous amount more fuel in this bottle. You could heat your house or home on propane or natural gas pretty economically. You wouldn't want to heat it on acetylene. The next thing I'd like to point out is propane has about 2,260 BTUs per cubic foot. So it's a much denser, higher energy fuel than acetylene. Acetylene's around 1,370 BTUs per cubic foot. It's a lot like the difference between gasoline and diesel. What our torch does is we have a demand regulation system and all the attachments on this torch built with a venturi, and it pulls a vacuum on this regulator. So we're leaning the gas out much leaner than what you'd have on an oxyacetylene set, and it's all done automatically. This regulator never needs adjusted. It's all automatic. The volume of gas is controlled by the venturis in the head and the mixer that pulls a vacuum on this regulator. Works similar to a scuba diving regulator. The oxygen regulator, you'll notice there's no big gauges on it here, but that's because this is a micrometer style shatterproof regulator. You read it like a torque wrench here. This has a flow capacity to cut 15 inches of steel. Our vacuumatic force mix head on this here, on the cutting head. Our welding assembly is variable welding assembly, goes from nothing to a size 8 in acetylene. Our rosebuds here is equivalent to 450,000 BTUs. That's enough heat to heat a solid 4x4 piece of metal cherry red in less than 5 minutes. Other things the torch comes with is a 25 foot of T-grade hose. We also have our 2GG or weld erasing tip here. It's a scarfing tip, and we'll show you that work. That'll retire air arcs. It's retired many air arcs in the past. This is a system that our company has worked with for over 40 years. It's a very proven system. The thing is, we're selling equipment. We're not selling gas, and there's a lot of money in gas, so your gas distributor don't want to sell a torch that will save you money on the long run. Now, the advantage here with these bottles is we'll guarantee you'll replace a minimum of 12 of these with one of these 5-gallon or 20-pound tanks of propane. But most people replace up to 16. Doing the same cutting, we'll use about half the oxygen. We'll go over that in some of our demonstrations, but we'll cut sheet metal to 3 inches thick with an aught tip. We also have an automatic handle that comes in this system. It's a roll-on and off switch on the handle. We'll go over and show you. Other accessories, we have our MX2 and MX3 big powder torches for flame spray and hard surfacing buildup. They've got a lot of money, used a lot on farms for hard surfacing, everything from header augers to plowshares, ripper teeth, you name it. There's all different types of applications for that. Anything that wears, that can save you a lot of money. Way out of the performance range of anything on oxyacetylene. This is kind of an introduction on the All States Magnum Propane system. Thank you very much.